In the book of Esther, we read of a girl named Esther. Esther was a Jew who lived in Persia. She was very beautiful, and she lived with her uncle Mordecai. King Ahasuerus was the king in Persia, and he decided to look for a new queen.
Boy, I really need to do something about that last queen. Way too opinionated. I need to take my friend's advice and look for another queen. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, wait, what, me? Why, you're King Ahasuerus, aren't you?
King Ahasuerus, I present to you Esther. My name is Mordecai. At your service, Your Highness.
So, Esther is your name, huh? Cute. I like you. So, what do you think about joining me at the palace? You see, I'm looking for a new queen, and I think you've got what it takes. I know it's a little sudden and forward, but what do you say?
Well, being queen sure does sound nice. But you're right, this is sudden. But, okay, let's go!
Great. Let's head off to the palace. I'll get you started with a 12-month spa treatment, 6 months of oil and myrrh, and 6 months with spices and ointments.
Esther, I'm happy for you to go and live in a life of luxury, but you must do something for me. You must promise not to tell anyone that you're a Jew. See, we're here as captives, and we don't get much respect. You must not tell anybody that you're a Jew. Do you promise?
Yes, Uncle Mordecai, I promise.
So after 12 months, Esther was chosen to go to the king's palace. King Ahasuerus loved Esther and made her queen. But she followed her uncle's advice and did not reveal to anyone that she was a Jew. Now a man named Haman worked for King Ahasuerus. He hated the Jews because all of King Ahasuerus' servants would bow down to Haman, but Mordecai did not.
Mordecai, I should have known. You never bowed down like everybody else.
Haman's hate grew so intense that he wanted to hurt Mordecai, and knowing that he was a Jew, Haman issued a law which declared the Jews were to be destroyed. When Mordecai heard that the Jews were to be destroyed, he mourned and wept bitterly, but he had a plan, an idea.
Mordecai, I've got this important decree from the king. I think it's from Haman, but it has the king's authority. Oh, Mordecai, the king is so wonderful. The palace is great. People there really like me. And the 12-month spa treatment is so good.
Oh no! Esther, do you know what this can do to us? This is a decree that says all Jews must be killed.
Oh no, that is terrible. What are we going to do?
There isn't much we can do. Like you said, it's full of authority from the king. Wait a minute. The king! You're close to the king. You need to go to him for access for the Jews. Beg him for our lives.
But Esther knew that this was a dangerous request. For if a man or woman goes to the king without being summoned, there is but one law: to be put to death, unless the king holds out his scepter.
But Mordecai, I can't go to the king without being called. I could die.
Esther, this law says that you would be killed anyways. Don't think that because you live in the palace that you would be spared, but do it for everyone. But if you have to stay silent, relief will rise from the Jews from another place. But you know whether you have not to come from the kingdom for such a time as this?
Okay. Go tell the Jews to fast and pray. And I'll go to the king and beg for mercy.
Now 3 days later, the king was in his court, and when Esther came to him, her fate rested on if he would hold out his scepter and save her life for coming in without being called. When Esther approached the king, he held out his scepter to save her, and he asked her what she wanted. Esther asked if the king and Haman would come and eat some banquets that she would prepare for him. The king agreed, and he and Haman went to Esther's banquets. At the end of the banquets, Esther asked the king her request.
Queen Esther, what is it you wish? For it shall be granted to you, even a half of my kingdom, it shall be fulfilled.
If I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be granted for me, and it's my wish, and for my people. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed and to be killed and annihilated.
Who is he, and where is he, who has dared to do this?
A foe and enemy, this wicked Haman.
What?
And the king arose in his wrath from the wine drinking and went into the palace garden. But Haman stayed to beg for his life from Queen Esther.
Esther, I didn't know you were a Jew. You've got to help me. The king looked really mad, but he loves you. He'll give me mercy if you ask him.
No way.
Please, Esther, please help me.
Whoa, 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 do not touch me. COVID.
What is this? Does he dare to assault the queen in my presence, in my own house?
King Ahasuerus agreed to help the Jews and gave Queen Esther the house of Haman. So she gave her uncle Mordecai Haman's old job, working for the king. Then Mordecai helped the Jews defend themselves with the king's authority, and the Jews survived. All because Esther was prepared to wait for God's great opportunities.